Stay focused.
Oh,
Stay focused.
All right, now march.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yeah! I can hear y'all. Yeah! All right then. Show me what the community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what the
down the road.
This is what community looks like.
Like, if we
This is what community looks like.
Okay?
This is what community looks like.
The road and turn left. That's which way we're headed. And we're headed
Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
All right.
Fight back!
We're marching on the right.
Fight back! Fight back!
Sorry.
We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down.
We're just on this side. Except for
We are live. Thanks for joining me here in Ferguson, Missouri, just outside of St. Louis in St. Louis County here. Revolutionary Z, live on all four of my channels. Also live on the TYT Politics page tonight. Thank you guys.
We shut it down! We shut it down! We shut it down! They think it's a joke! 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 It ain't no joke! It ain't no joke! It ain't no joke! It ain't no joke!
So we are actually on West Florissant Road right now. We just passed Canfield Drive, which was the road that Michael Brown got shot and killed back in 2014. So right here in West Florissant, you see the McDonald's coming up ahead here. This was the hotbed of the first couple months of protest. When I first rolled into Ferguson, 2 weeks after it started, this is where I came the first night and encountered Officer Go Fuck Yourself, who pointed a rifle and threatened to shoot us that night. Just to give you a little background of where we were and why the protesters are calling this ground zero of the STL verdict protests back in Ferguson, back where the movement took root 3 years ago.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back!
And speaking of all the journalists that have been arrested in St. Louis, the McDonald's right here was the first site of that back in 2014, where Ryan J. Riley of Huffington Post was arrested for just being in the McDonald's, along with Wesley Lowry. They were both journalists with their IDs arrested in that McDonald's back in 2014. So St. Louis has a history of arresting and jailing journalists.
If we don't get it, shut it down. 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 Who shuts it down? We 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 shut it down.
This is actually the Ferguson Market and Liquor. This was the convenience store the police alleged Michael Brown stole cigars from back in 2014. Before Officer Darren Wilson found him on the road in Canfield and decided to shoot him.
No profits! No profits! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down!
So the First Stop protesters are attempting to shut down Ferguson Market and Liquor.
Who shut shit down? We shut shit down! 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 Who shut shit down? We shut shit down!
All right, y'all.
Everybody get out the way. Stop the bathroom.
Yeah, let her out, y'all. We ain't trying to stop nobody from getting out. Let her out, let her out. Make way, make way. Make way, please. Thank everyone. Thank you all for making way, please. Let her through. Thank you. Let her out. Let her out. No harm. Now that she's out, this is the very same market right here that act as if they do no wrong. This is the very same market that traffic drugs and whatever else they got going on over here. But yet it's still the Ferguson Police Department and the community and the mayor keep allowing this place to be open. Why? Because Ferguson PD is making a profit. All right. Okay? Some of the people in the community are making a profit. But it's up to us as the people in the community to shut this place down. That's right. Now they had an ultimate board meeting for them about their liquor license. It's up to us to help make sure that they don't get it. Yes. Because the longer this store stays open, the more problems it creates in our community. As you can see, look at an 18-year-old young man. Do I have to say his name? An 18-year-old name. Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown.
Say his name.
Mike Brown. Now, they tried to cover this whole situation up with Mike Brown. You all know the story, right? Yes. Did you all see the?
Tell them the story.
Did you all see the actual truth?
Yes, sir.
But if you didn't, I'm finna give it to you. Now, remember when they said Mike Brown went in here and just took those railroads from him? That's not true. This is what happened. Now, some illegal transactions took place up in here.
All the time.
All the time. Now,
We got evidence.
when this illegal transaction took place, these workers that's working in here now were aware of what they were doing, except for the owner. Okay, now that these people were doing these transactions, Mike Brown went in and made his, and they gave him a whole pack, not just a package, but a whole box of Rello. He gave them back because he wanted to come get them the next day, which he did. Now, when he went in there to get them, the owner, who was on duty, didn't know what was going on, so Mike Brown tried to grab his Rellos, and the owner assumed that he was robbing him. Wrong story. If you hired the workers that's supposed to do the job instead of doing illegal transactions, this was never would have taken place. Period. Now, these very same people that were doing this transaction are still in these stores right to this day. But they called themselves going to get security to stop us. It would never, ever happen. We're going to remind Ferguson Market and Ferguson PD and whoever else ride with these sorry son of a bitches that we are not doing this in this community. Are y'all with me? Yeah! I said, are y'all with me? Yeah! And I want y'all to let Ferguson Market know that we want to shut them down. When I say Ferguson Market, y'all say shut it down. Ferguson Market! Shut it down! 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 Now, the reason why we say we want to shut it down, check this out. Hold it.
And they sell loose cigarettes.
I'm finna do y'all a prime example of what they do at this store right here. The door is locked. I'm finna show you what they'll do.
And they sell loose cigarettes.
I can go to this store and do like this here. Come in the store and do like this here. Come in and I can purchase whatever. Y'all heard me? I said whatever. This is just not what they call a. Y'all see what they say? They forgot one thing. Drugs. They forgot to put that on the menu. See, this is the reason why we out here. Because if they're going to be in this community, you're not just going to profit for yourself, you're going to help this community. And if you can't help this community, you can take your business and take it where you belong.
That's right.
That's what we on out here. Ain't nobody finna keep on profiting in our community, and we suffering from it. If you can't fund our community, then you need to fund your ass somewhere else. We can escort y'all there real quick like. I got enough people that support me on that, right? Yeah! When I say, we want them out of here, don't we want them out of here? Yeah. I say, do we want Ferguson Market out of here? Yeah! All right then. So I want y'all to remember. I want y'all to keep remembering. Every time y'all someone come out here, let Ferguson Market know we still working on shutting their ass down because they deserve it. Right. They have allowed a young man to be killed who had a promising dream. They allowed a young man to be killed who could have been our next president. You see what I'm saying? So if they allow this to happen, guess what we got to do?
Shut it down.
Shut that shit down.
Who shut shit down?
We shut shit down.
Who shut it down?
We shut it 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 down. That's another piece to the puzzle right here, though. That's another piece to this puzzle. It's called the Ferguson Police Department. Now, you all know the mayor and all the police district, all the people that working in the police district up here right now have worked together to cover up this whole crime scene.
Look at them, they over here. They already ready.
I don't care about them being ready.
They trying to protect the Ferguson Market dope and liquor. Get all the liquor you need. Get all the weed you need. For Ferguson Market dope and liquor. Get all the weed you need.
How you doing, Mr. Ferguson Police Department? Don't think we've forgotten about y'all. We'll never forget about y'all. You all played the part in covering up a young man being killed for no reason. But yet still, y'all come down here with y'all almighty little suits on and uniforms on, like y'all pressing the issue about something. Y'all like what's going on up in the community, not just about killing blacks, that's what I mean. So you tired of y'all coming out here with your little control belts on and the bad. Remember, we pay the taxes and your salary. Remember that. And if they allow people like you all to work with this department and who don't give a fuck about nobody else's life but your own, you don't need to be on this list. You know where you need to be? You need to be over in Iraq somewhere. That's where you need to be. No more. No more killing blacks. 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 No more killing blacks.
No more killing blacks. No more killing blacks. No more killing blacks.
That's our message to you and any other district across the country. Stop killing blacks. If you can't handle dealing with a black person, you don't need to be on the police force. Oh, as a matter of fact, I wanted to prove one statistic to you, just to help you be clear. Y'all had an undercover cop. Let me help you out. Y'all had an undercover cop that was a black man. He went undercover as a protester. And you all shot him. Y'all shot him. Y'all shot him. Because he tried to run. But when y'all seen he had a badge on his neck and he told y'all he was a police officer, y'all still didn't believe him. And y'all still shot him. Explain that to me. I got all night. Right.
We wait.
That's what I thought. Y'all never have an explanation for when you do wrong, but you have a logical reason when you fuck up.
Well, he got that hand on that table.
We done proved time and time again, Ferguson always known for fucking up. They fuck up all the time.
Man, he's so scared of you, man.
Yeah. Where's your buddy Darren at? Darren Wilson, remember him?
We'll get there.
The murderer?
Make sure you get a picture of him on that table right there.
Where's Darren Wilson? The murderer. The one that killed Brooke Brown.
But when you stick it to their ears, then they start to get an understanding and know what the fuck we mean. Now, if y'all gonna continue to kill us, we're gonna continue to disrupt this motherfucking kingdom, whether you like it or not.
I think the whole damn system is guilty as hell. The whole
damn
system.
Did I fucking nerve? I'm at my limit, so I know my rights. So fuck with me. I know.
At any moment, right? At any moment.
Fuck
the police.
Majority of the white police officers on the force, they can never look
I just said that. You in our community, then.
Silence is consent.
Community.
Where you from? How far does it take for you to drive here? How long does it take for you to drive here?
Do they give you a license to kill me?
But you want your man to be a good officer.
Do they give you a license to kill me? Because you don't know me?
Hey, how far you gotta drive to get here? Where you live?
None of you ever rushed to turn down with me, but you rushed to come over and spray all the pepper spray and all the goddamn tear gas you spray. But you never rushed.
Hey, how far you gotta
To
drive
a
to
young
go
man
to
A who was lying in the street for 6.5 motherfucking hours. But you never rushed to that. But you rushed to beat the fuck out of us. Explain your job title to my people so they can get an understanding of why y'all can really.
Where do you live? You live in Ferguson?
Get out the building. Why? Explain it to me, please.
Don't try to make it
Does anybody here in this uniform live in Ferguson?
Every human life matters. But it seems the black lives don't matter. And I can tell you why.
My hand's not on my taser. It's just
Do any of y'all live in Ferguson? Tell me.
Go back up to that Caucasus Mountain, you wouldn't have that
Captain, do you live in
That's
Ferguson?
not a hand on the table.
Do you live here? How far do you drive to work here? 45 minutes?
But truth is back to back. You motherfuckers don't stop.
You know what I'm saying? How long do you gotta drive to come to work?
45 minutes.
About 30, 40. You live in Ferguson? Do you live in Ferguson? No. So how can you relate to anybody that lives here? Tell me that.
We shut shit down.
Go police your own community.
We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down.
Get all the Negroes you want on this motherfucking force.
Sergeant Harry Dilworth in the middle of the screen right there detained me for filming a traffic stop from more than a block away. We just won in court. He tried to pretend he didn't know who we were. He knows exactly who I am. Harry Dilworth. He got promoted after Ferguson for being one of the worst cops in Ferguson. Dilworth got promoted for being one of the worst cops in Ferguson.
Did you move here?
Do you remember me now, Dilworth, after seeing me in court and pretending you didn't know who I was? Do you remember me? Do you remember me now? Do you remember pretending you didn't know who I was and you detained me back in 2015 for no reason? Do you remember that?
Man,
do you remember that?
He done did a lot of dirty shit.
I've got it on YouTube. Check my YouTube channel, folks. This Sergeant Dilworth detained me for filming a traffic stop from a safe distance. He pulled up behind us. We could not move. Then he gave us a parking violation saying we were parked there. We could not move because we were surrounded by cops. Him, right away. It's in the video. And you see him not commenting now. He pretended he didn't know us in court and it was a lie. And yet he gets promoted after Ferguson. He even got put on like some civilian PR board, and he has no communication skills with the populace. That was proven during Ferguson. Officer Casey was put on that same panel, not in command, sadly. He did have PR skills with the populace. Why he was not put in command, I don't know. But say goodbye to Officer Dilworth, folks. So again, thanks for joining me live here in Ferguson, Missouri tonight. I want to say hello to the TYT Politics fans and page. I'm streaming on there as well tonight, so just as a contributor, it's still from my RebZ TV account here. Glad to be on there. Thanks for sharing our audiences, Jordan, in this collaboration, holding the torch basically for Jordan until he can get back in town. He has other commitments. So just for the TYT audience, I may be a little feistier than Jordan, especially amongst police officers like Dilworth, who I have a 3-year history with, and especially once Mason arrests start happening. So just for that, my opinions do not speak for TYT. They're mine and RebZ TV's alone.
No justice! No profits! No justice!
No profits!
No justice!
No profits!
No justice!
No profits!
No justice!
No profits!
No justice!
No profits!
They think it's a game!
They think it's a joke!
They think it's a game!
They think it's a joke!
They think it's a game!
They think it's a joke!
They think it's a game!
They think it's a joke!
It ain't no game!
It ain't no joke!
It ain't no game!
It ain't no joke!
It ain't no game!
It ain't no joke!
It ain't no game!
They think it's a joke. They think it's a joke. It ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. I believe that we will win. I know that we will win. I believe.
So again, for new viewers, here on West Florissant Road, the hot spot of the Ferguson protests in 2014 for the first couple of months, before the protests mainly moved in front of the Ferguson Police Department headquarters. Many gassings and pepper sprayings and rubber bullets fired on this stretch of road in the months of August and September 2014.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
Sorry about that. I light it.
That's right.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
I'll put you in touch with this. Yeah, and I got
Stand up, fight back! 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 Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! It is our duty to win!
So protesters, after marching down West Florissant, again, the site of the 2014 Ferguson-Mike Brown protests in September and October, those first couple months, a lot of tear gas on that street. That's where the militarized cops first showed their hand. So protesters marched to Ferguson Market and Liquor, the site where Michael Brown allegedly stole cigarillos. We heard the true story tonight. He had an illegal, the people who worked there were doing illegal selling of things to people. He had bought a box from one of them the day before, said he would be in and pick them up. It's apparently a common thing people from Canfield and the projects around here in Ferguson do because of the poor employees at Ferguson Market and Liquor. So that's what led to the owner, who didn't know of the illegal transactions going on there, calling the police saying he was robbing them, who Darren Wilson then hunted down Mike Brown in the streets and shot him back in 2014, starting the nationwide movement that really fueled the nationwide movement against police brutality and especially the killing of African Americans within the major cities in the U.S. And St. Louis is a hotbed of that. So I don't know if there's more actions after this. We'll find out in a second. Take this time to thank the TYT Politics fans. We're featured on their page today to try to keep the message going while Jordan and Ty are out of town. We became good friends and cellmates over the couple days that they were here. So built up some trust. So we're doing this collaboration to try to share our audience for this very important moment that's happening in St. Louis. I want to thank those guys for doing that. So again, for the TYT audience, my opinions are mine alone and those of Rebzy TV. They don't express the opinions of TYT Politics per se. And for new viewers on my channel or TYT Politics, I'm currently simulcasting on these 4 channels, my YouTube, Facebook, Ustream, and Periscope. Again, also on TYT Politics, as you see right there.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget to also follow me on Twitter at RevolutionaryZ, where you can get up-to-the-minute feeds and rants about the SLMPD. Make sure you definitely follow me on Twitter there. And my page is completely ad-free on Rebzy TV. We rely on donations to get this new site up and going. We have many ways to donate to the new team that we're building, either one-time donations or monthly donations via PayPal, even Bitcoin to help out my web designer, to keep the website growing and get upgrade our servers. You can find all that on the donation link you see right down there. So the actions every night vary in length and where they're at and what the action is going to partake, especially now with the way the police have been acting. A lot of them are very secretive until the last minute. This very could well be the end of the action tonight, short, sweet, in Ferguson. Doesn't mean protesters won't return here, since this is ground zero of the Ferguson protests. I'm going to find out right now what's going on.
In a protest kind of way.
Open that for me. Where's your
No. What's that way?
Right. Okay. Okay. All right, folks. So I just found out what is going on. I am going to. Hey, what's up? Going to take the stream down for just a little bit. We're moving locations to another hotbed of the 2014 Ferguson protest, where I spent many months protesting. Will join us there in just a few minutes as soon as I get in my car and drive over there. So the stream will go down, but it will be back up very shortly. So make sure you stay tuned to Rebzy.tv, TYT Politics on Facebook, and then any of my other channels. Follow me on Twitter, and you'll notice right when I go live. And I will see you guys in just a few minutes. Stay on the pages. You'll see us pop up live when we're there. Thank you.